If you're the type of person who sets New Year's resolutions and it feels like you never actually achieve them, you're definitely not alone. In fact, I have also been known to set New Year's resolutions over the years and quite often don't achieve them. And I think there's a few reasons in particular why a lot of people out there don't achieve their New Year's resolutions, and I believe most of it comes down to the actual planning process. Most people probably don't actually sit down and plan out their New Year's resolutions and how they're actually going to achieve them. And a lot of this actually comes down to the art of goal setting, which I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, I really do believe that everyone has their own personal way of setting goals, and I think that that's great. I think we all need a tailored approach to this. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of my own personal tips for setting goals that I feel have really worked well for me, and they've really led to me achieving a lot of these goals over the years, so that's why I want to talk about them today. But if you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Kaylee, and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. But I'm also a content creator, and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things business, social media, freelancing, and content creation. And as I mentioned, today's video is going to be all about how to set goals in 2025 and actually achieve them. We're really going to be talking about the ways that you can set yourself up for success, and if you're a creative like me, trying to find some unique ways of setting goals that might really help you get inspired and ready to take on 2025. So for me, setting my yearly goals has now kind of taken on this kind of ritual that I have at the beginning of every year. I've talked about it briefly on my channel before, but I am going to go a little bit more in depth as to my process of actually beginning to set my goals and what I like to have in place that really helps me out. I think there's a really important aspect to this though, and it really comes down to getting yourself in the right headspace for setting goals as well, which I think is a lot easier to do at the beginning of a year, hence why so many people do tend to set New Year's resolutions. However, I do find, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that a lot of people don't actually sit down and plan out their goals in a way that they usually would for New Year's resolutions, hence why a lot of the time they just don't get achieved. A lot of the time they get forgotten about in the first few months, and then there's no plan to keep you going. So as I mentioned, I think it's really good to be in a great inspired mindset at the beginning of each year to set your goals, really looking ahead and really envisioning what you want your year to look like and some of the things that you want to achieve. Like I said, I do have more of a ritual for this now, which I find really works for me. Every year it just gets me excited to set my goals. It gets me inspired. I kind of feel in this really good headspace that I think everyone should really find if they are struggling to set goals, really envisioning what you want your life to look like when these goals are set and really how you're going to achieve them. So the first thing I actually do in my ritual each year is to actually sit down and plan my goals. I know it's so shocking, it's revolutionary, but I actually find time to set aside so I can sit down and plan my goals. Now, I often do this with my partner, and we do kind of like a number of different goals that we like to set. So for part of the session, it'll be more focused on our own personal goals and together what we hope to achieve in our personal lives, and that might also include some financial goals too. But then we also have our career goals and our business goals and what we really want to achieve in our businesses or in our careers for the year. So I think it's good to kind of break it down that way and have a few different things that you look at, whether it's in your personal life that you've got goals you want to achieve, or your business or your work life, whatever it is. I think it's good to have kind of like sections of that session that you focus on each kind of category. Now, we do set aside 1 to 2 days to do this goal setting process, and I think this is the one thing that a lot of people don't do a lot of the time, is actually find the time to just sit down and focus solely on goal setting. And it's really nice. It is so nice to reflect on the previous year, to see maybe what we could have done better, what we could do differently this year, and kind of look at what we've learned throughout the year too. I think it's nice to have that time to reflect on previous years and then looking forward to the next year, really get inspired for setting those new goals. Now, one way we really like to make this even more inspiring and really getting ourselves even more in the mood for it is actually by going away. And I totally understand that this is not going to be doable for everyone. There is a cost of living crisis going on. I am fully aware of that, and it can be hard to get away. But I would say even if you can't necessarily get away for 1 to 2 days, and this is really all my partner and I do, we usually go away fairly locally or maybe interstate for a couple of days, and we just book a holiday home or a hotel, and for a couple of days we will just find a really inspiring setting. So for example, a couple of years ago, we went to the Mornington Peninsula near Melbourne in Victoria, and we booked this little Airbnb, and it was really cute, and we actually did a lot of our goal planning there. I think the year before we went to the Blue Mountains, which is only a couple of hours away from where we live, but it was lovely, and we were in this beautiful little cabin surrounded by nature. We had the most beautiful weather, being summer, of course. It's actually summer here. I know it looks like a really cozy room at the moment with my candle flickering and everything, but it's 1,000,000 degrees in here, don't be fooled. So yeah, it was such a lovely time to actually sit down and do our goal setting. There was actually a veranda at the Airbnb that we just went out on and sat and just for hours in the sun, just kind of planned our goals. We had no distractions, and it was amazing. This year we actually went to Mount Beauty in Victoria as well. So that was a number of hours away from where we live here, but it was beautiful, just like a summer escape to the mountains for a couple of days with our doggos. And mainly like for a day or so of that was just goal setting. And it was just a wonderful time away to really focus and set those goals. So that's essentially what we do at the beginning of every year. Now, if you can't afford to necessarily go away for a few nights, or that's just not on the cards for whatever reason, other commitments, I think there's other ways to kind of get yourself in the right groove. So whether it means just finding a place that is a really good, inspiring, quiet, focus-driven place for you. So that might be like a local library. Maybe you prefer to go sit on the beach and maybe do something like this. Or if it's cold where you are at the moment, maybe going to a cafe or somewhere inside where you can really just spend a few hours looking at your goal setting and what you want to achieve for 2025. I think those are kind of a few wonderful options to kind of get started if you are not looking to spend a lot of money. If you can't get away, then really dedicating that time in a place that still feels inspiring to you or still feels cozy or comfy, you know, just really getting yourself in that mood, just any way you can, I think just really helps overall with focusing and getting ready for the new year. Now, the next thing I do as part of my goal setting ritual is I actually purchase a new goal workbook every year. And I actually have a few different goal workbooks, so I'm gonna go through them quickly. So first off, I need to shout out where I get my first workbook from, and that is from by Rosanna. She's an online content creator and graphic designer, and she has these amazing workbooks over on her website. They are free if you sign up for her newsletter, and I've been using them the last few years. I think that they are wonderful. They have so many great questions on the worksheets. You can easily print them off from home, and as I mentioned, it's free and I love using it. I use it every year, and I actually take this workbook on the trip that I go on with my partner to do our goal setting. So I will take that workbook and we'll go through the workbook each. So we'll print off a copy each and then kind of compare notes and then set all of the goals. So I really find that that's a great one to start off the year because it is a yearly goal setting workbook, and it's more like for keeping track of your goals throughout the year, more so than necessarily week to week or anything like that. Then I have one of these, which is a really, really great little workbook. It's a goals journal, and I get these from Kikki K. Now, I'm not actually sure if they have them for 2025. I haven't actually done my stationery haul yet for 2025. So once I've done that, I'll update and let you know whether these are still a Kikki K or something similar. But yeah, for the last couple of years, I have purchased these. They're really great. They're more of like a 90-day workbook. So it's kind of over a short term, more so than the long term for these kind of goals. So I like to have this on hand anyway to continuously keep track of my goals throughout the year. And a lot of those bigger goals that I've set for the year may kind of break down into smaller bite-sized goals that I then enter into this book, and then we sort of keep track of them over a shorter period of time. So there's plenty of goal workbooks out there though that you can purchase, and lots of goal trackers. So I do find these to be really helpful. Another thing that I've started using, and you might have already seen it on my channel before, but it is the goal tracking template from CoPlenty, and I've spoken about this a lot in my monthly reset videos. If you go and see my monthly resets, you'll see that I actually use them each month in those videos, and I've found them to be extremely helpful with setting goals, and they're super easy to use, really user friendly. And then you've got a digital version of them as well. So if you're interested in checking out those templates, there is a link in the description box below, an affiliate link, and there is a 10% discount code as well. As I mentioned, the goal tracker is really good throughout the year and also day to day and week to week, because you can really look at everything in detail. You've got checkboxes for checking everything off daily if you're looking to get daily habits involved as well, or daily goals. I think it's been just such a help this year with setting a lot of my goals month to month, and I love using it in my monthly resets because it really just gives me a fresh perspective every month on everything. So really love those and highly recommend. Now, the next part of my ritual is to actually review the goals at different intervals throughout the year. So usually for my long-term yearly goals, I'll look at touching base with those every 3 to 6 months, and then kind of continuing on to make sure I'm on track to achieve them. I really think this is important because sometimes goals change as well, so it's really good to do a review, say every 6 months, and make sure that the goals you set at the beginning of the year are still the goals that you want to achieve at the middle of the year as well. I think I've had plenty of goals in the past where I've set them at the beginning of the year thinking I wanted one thing or wanted to do one thing, and then like 6 months later I've sort of slowly changed my mind on something and I want to tweak the goal. So I think that that's completely fine, and I think that that's something that everyone should do every 6 months or so at least, just to review those goals that you've set and then maybe tweak them if you have to. Like I said, it also helps for tracking, so if you're really not on track to meet a goal, you know that for the remaining 6 months of the year you can kind of do things differently to kind of speed up the process if possible. So not only, as I mentioned, is it important to track at different intervals like 6 months, it's important to track weekly and monthly as well, but I would do this a little bit differently. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video, I do tend to break down a lot of the bigger goals and tend to make them into smaller goals, whether that be for daily, weekly, or monthly. So it's really important that you're making sure that week to week you're doing those bite-sized tasks that are really going to help you achieve those goals, those bigger goals towards the end of the year. So for example, if you wanted to save like $20,000 in the year for part of your house deposit, then you could make sure that week to week you're saving the appropriate amount of money and sort of check that off as you go. And then obviously do those other reviews at different intervals to make sure you are definitely on track for that as well. Now, another thing I have to mention here about goal setting, which is something that I also try and stick to, is making sure that your goals are SMART goals. Now, I really do agree with how SMART goals are set out in general. The only thing I don't love about them, which I will talk about in a minute, is the fact that you have to be super specific. And I don't think that all goals need to be really specific. I think that, again, that leaves a little bit of room for change, which I've talked about before. I think sometimes you will change your mind on certain goals, or maybe circumstances change and, you know, things have to change. So I think that sometimes not being super specific is okay too. But let's get into what a SMART goal is. So S is for specific, which I just mentioned, making sure your goals are relatively specific. But as I mentioned, I do find that it's okay sometimes to have some goals that are not super overly specific. Like for example, I've been trying to get a little bit more on top of my exercise month to month lately, and I was really struggling with the specific goals I was setting for myself because some of them felt too rigid and I felt like I was still putting in effort, but I wasn't technically rewarding myself for it at the same time in knowing that I'd achieved the goal specifically. So instead what I did was I changed my goals, which were like, I think it was like 20 minutes to half an hour of yoga each day and 15 minutes of meditation. And then I had another goal of maybe 10,000 steps a day. And then I actually changed those goals to 30 minutes of exercise each day. It didn't have to be anything specifically, just as long as it was like 30 minutes of physical activity. And it was a little bit more of a vague goal. You know, that could have been walking, that could have been just moving around the house a bit. But as long as there was 30 minutes of physical activity, I was going to be happy with what I achieved there. So I think that that's okay to be a little bit more vague in that way with your goals. You don't always have to be like, I need to do this said thing at this certain time and this certain date. I think that yes, for some goals, this is definitely needed, but for some others, I think you can be a little bit more flexible with them. Now, the M stands for measurable. So this is where it sort of comes down to the fact that you need to be able to track your goals easily and actually measure whether you've achieved them or not. And making sure you're setting measurable goals really helps with comparing where you were at certain stages and really reflecting on your goals overall. So making sure they're measurable is important. The A is for attainable. Now, this is, I feel, the most important part of setting a goal, is to make sure that your goals are somewhat attainable. Too often, I think people fall down at this hurdle where they set goals that are just simply unattainable, and whether that's because they have too many commitments going on in their day-to-day life, their lifestyle does not allow for certain goals to be achieved within a shorter time frame or even within a year. I think this is really important to focus on and make sure that whatever you're doing to achieve these goals that you want to set, make sure that it's easy and make sure that you're able to do these small bite-sized tasks pretty effortlessly, because as soon as it becomes hard and difficult to achieve these goals, you're just going to feel like giving up. And this is what a lot of people do with their New Year's resolutions too. A lot of the time they're not really attainable and there's no plan behind them. So in the end, a lot of the time people will just give up. So I actually feel like that's the most important part of setting a goal, is make sure it's attainable. Now, the R stands for relevant. So making sure that your goals are relevant to your personal life, to whatever you're doing. If you have a business, if you are a content creator like me, making sure you're setting those goals that are relevant to what you're doing. It's really not much point setting goals that aren't relevant to you at all. And the T stands for timely. So that just means that you're making sure you've got a set time frame frame in which to achieve these goals in. If you don't even have a rough time frame, things can get pretty messy with how you're going to achieve these goals then, and it just kind of pushes timelines out further and further. And a lot of the time it doesn't work unless you've got a time frame attached to it. So remember, SMART goals are a really, really good place to start in setting your goals. And just as a last tip to this all, just remember to plan. I think that's the most important point with all of this, is to remember to plan your goals and actually set that time aside, because it is so difficult to just set goals and then not have any sort of plan behind them. A lot of the time, as I've mentioned, this is how I've kind of not achieved my goals. And some of those goals might have been really achievable for the year, but because I didn't have a set plan as to how I was going to get there, and I wasn't really keeping myself accountable or tracking them throughout the year, they've just been forgotten about and I didn't really know where to start with them. So I think more than anything, just taking that time to plan and set your goals for 2025 will really help you get off on the right foot. Well, thank you so much for watching this video today, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do, because I'll be posting a lot more videos in future. Let me know down in the comment section below what your goal setting routine looks like each year, and if you're excited to set goals for 2025. Are you looking forward to the new year? I really want to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section below. In the meantime, make sure to hit the notification bell to see all the updates from my channel. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.